Hi, good evening, everyone. Welcome to the undergraduate webinar series, an interactive online platform to connect high school students with the Ashoka community. I welcome you all on in the today's webinar on scholarships at Ashoka. I am Niyati Gautam. I work with Outreach Office at Ashoka University. With me, I have today Ms. Jayati Bhatia, Assistant Director, Office of Financial Aid, Mr. Tejasvi Anand, Assistant Manager, Office of Financial Aid, and Ms. Madhuri Lalwani from Office of Admissions. So, we all will be addressing your queries on scholarships at Ashoka and any other queries on admission if you have. Before I start, I would also want you to inform all our audience that the round one deadline for Ashoka undergraduate program is on 27 November 2024. So without any further ado, we can start.
Yes. Niyati, thank you for that introduction. Hello and good evening, everyone. Thank you for joining us for this webinar today. And today we will walk you through the various scholarships which are available for you at Ashoka University, be it the need-based scholarship, merit scholarship, and any other fee concession. And then on the later half, we will take any questions which you might have. So yes, Niyati, we can get started.
Sure. So, Jayati, I would actually start with a very basic question that what is need-based scholarship?
Okay, well, that's a very interesting question. That what Ashoka offers is actually a need-based scholarship. So, when we started this institute and the idea, our philosophy was to ensure that our world-class education is affordable and accessible to all the students, irrespective of whatever background they come from. And giving need-based scholarship is a key component of carrying out this commitment. So, with this philosophy, we follow a need blind admission and a need based scholarship support. And to explain this in a little more detail, well, when a student is applying for their admission to Ashoka University, we do not ask for or we do not consider any income or any financial aspects. And the admission of a student is entirely based on the holistic assessment of their candidature, which also includes their academic merit. However, this need based scholarship, which is entirely based on the basis of the financial standing of a student's family. So, our main aim here is to help the student bridge the gap between the cost of the program at Ashoka University and their ability to pay. And just to give an idea that how strongly we believe in this philosophy, currently on campus, approximately 47% of our students, they are on some form of scholarships, both in the undergraduate as well as the postgraduate program. So this talks about that, how our commitment is towards this need-based scholarship.
Oh, that's amazing. So I also wanted to, know what has been the impact like on this need-based program? Like how many students receive actually, like here it is mentioned 45%. And on some form, as you mentioned, of scholarship, what does that really mean? So I mean, I'm addressing two questions here.
Okay, all
Yeah.
right. Yeah. So talking about the impact of this need-based program, well, if I add up all the numbers since the beginning, then we have supported almost 5,000 and plus students. They have been benefited from our need-based scholarship program. And these students have either paid a part of the fees or they have not paid any amount of fees. And of the resources which have been pulled in together to give as scholarships to these students, so almost 610 crore rupees have been spent into funding education for these students. And this is an amount which has been unheard of in our country, going only towards need based scholarships. So, if we look at the undergraduate program, and since the beginning, which is since the year 2014 up till now, our generous need based policy has actually supported approximately 45% of our students with some form of scholarships. So, some form of this need based scholarships means that if a student which qualifies for financial aid can receive anywhere between a 25% waiver on their tuition fees to a full waiver on all the costs for studying at Ashoka, which includes your residence also as well as your meals. So this typically means that a student can get a waiver of anywhere between 2.5 lakhs to almost 12 lakhs per annum of their fees. So therefore, this need-based scholarship is actually, not a straight answer as a yes or a no. That yes, I will get a need-based scholarship, or no, I will not get any need-based scholarship. If you qualify for it, you can actually get a range which starts from your 25% waiver and it goes up to a 90% waiver. And if we look at the breakup of the undergraduate students since the beginning, then almost 60% of our students, they have received partial waivers, which has been between 25% to almost 90% on the tuition fees. And we have approximately 40% of our students who have received a minimum of 100% waiver on their tuition fee, and above that, which will also include a part of their residence fee as well as the meal cost. So, on an average, we can say that 60% of our students who qualify for this need based scholarship, they generally get a waiver of around 5 to 7 lakhs per annum on their tuition fees.
So that was really informative. And whenever we are talking about scholarships and need-based scholarships, the first question that comes up is the eligibility criteria. So, is there any eligibility to apply, or anyone can apply for a need-based scholarship?
Well, anybody can apply for need-based scholarship. There is absolutely no, limitation in applying. There's one logistical step which is involved in this process, which is that a student can only apply for this need-based scholarship once they have received a form offer of admission. So once a student receives their firm offer of admission, there'll be an email sent to them which will notify them that they have received the offer. And in that same email, a link will be shared with them. So they have to go to that link. It will take you to their portal. And on that portal, they will also find the access to this scholarship form. And this scholarship form is absolutely free of cost. So there is no cost involved in applying for this. Only some documents and a bit of a time will be involved to fill this form. So we would highly encourage all students that the day you get your offer decision is the same day that your forms will also go live. So you should start preparing all your documents in time and just do apply for this scholarship form because it's very easy to apply.
Thank you, Jayati. So I can also see a lot of people joining in. So I would also want to repeat that if there are any questions related to scholarship, need-based scholarship, you can actually put it in the Q&A box, which is on your Zoom screen. And one more information, because there are a lot of people joining in, that our round first Ashoka undergraduate admission deadline is on 27 November. And you actually do not need your class 12 score or CUET score to apply. You can apply right now, and you can get an offer of admission from Ashoka University with scholarship as well. So before even your board results. Moving on, I would also want to address some questions with Tejasvi. Tejasvi, can you just give me a detailed version of how easy it is to apply for need-based scholarship? I mean, of course, Jyoti has given us an overview about the need-based scholarship. If you could help us out, that what are the steps basically?
Right. Thank you, Niyati. So, to that, candidates can apply for the need-based scholarships as soon as they get a firm offer of admission. In our experience, we have seen that once a candidate has all the information and documents ready, then it doesn't take more than 1 to 2 days to submit the need-based scholarship form. As the need-based scholarship form requires details of the family, therefore we suggest that the students also involve their parents or guardians to fill the form. I'll now take you to the main through the main sections of the need-based scholarship form. As you can see on the screen, the form has four main sections. The first being the personal and the family details section, which asks where you live, your current address, where you've studied, uh, any other details related to your family, your family members, what do they do, their occupation, etc. And moving on, then we proceed to the next section, which is the earning member details and business details section, which primarily asks the income details of the family members and the business details if any family owns a business or a consultancy. Then we move on to the wealth and expenses section, which requires you to provide all the assets and investment details of your family, and that particularly incurs in a in a financial year. And the last section being the comment section, which is the opportunity for you to explain in detail why your family requires the need-based scholarship. Please note that this is a mandatory section. You may feel free to write all the details that you feel that we should know. It's also useful for you to know that our assessment is completely based on what you provide. So please ensure that you provide us with an exhaustive information.
Perfect. So this is something which could be really helpful for the students.
Yeah.
However, sometimes what happens, students still face some challenges, right, while filling in the form, etc. So could you just highlight what could be some of the challenges that students might face filling in the form?
Yes. So in our experience, we have seen that sometimes parents are not willing to share the financial information at it being the sensitive data. So we'd like to assure that all the information and documents shared with the financial aid office is very confidential and stored in an utmost secured manner in the Ashoka portal. Nobody has the access to this information apart from the financial aid office at Ashoka University. Not even other departments, not even the admissions or the outreach office has access to all these data and files. Secondly, what we have seen is at the time of at the time of filling up the form, in case people students have and also the parents, they have some queries related to the form, but they write to us after the deadline is over, and at that time we are not able to help them or open the form for them. So we encourage all the students, parents, guardians to reach out to us within the deadline, and we would ensure that we assist you in the best possible manner.
And apart from this guidance given so far,
Yeah.
um, what are some of the important aspects that the applicant should do to fill this form responsibly? Like, could you just highlight certain points on that as well? Because, of course, this is a very crucial step, right?
Right.
So, what are the some pointers that you would like to suggest?
Right, right. So firstly, since the form is very detailed, we have given an a section complete button at the end of every page, and we would also encourage to click on the submit button and check the acknowledgement mail once you have submitted the form. Uh, Secondly, you will also now see two email IDs. First being the admissions@ashoka.edu.in and then financial aid at ashoka.edu.in. We would encourage all the applicants, their parents, to add these two email addresses to their mailbox so that you do not miss any important communication or updates from our side. And I'd like to also reiterate that, while filling up the form, we suggest you, primarily the applicants, the students, to involve your parents, as sometimes we've seen that students may not be exactly aware of the financial details of the family. For example, if we ask for the monthly salary and the annual income at two separate places, if there is any confusion in this data or any other numbers which can be wrongly entered here, may have a huge impact on the potential scholarship being offered. So we request you to be very, very careful with the financial figures that you punch in.
Okay, so this was actually following question when you said this thing.
Yeah.
It is a little controversial also. So basically, a lot of time, what happens, not a lot of times, some of the times actually,
Yeah.
what if in an application you discover like that the students has deliberately put in wrong information or misleading information? So how do you cater to that?
That's a very, very good question. So every form which we receive, with all the data that we have, is subject to verification through either email or through phone call.
Okay.
Uh, During our assessment, if it is found that the family has investments or savings whose details have not been shared in the need-based scholarship form, then the candidate's need-based scholarship application is subject to disqualification.
All right. Okay. And how does this process work? Like, when can a student apply for a need-based scholarship?
Right. All right. So it starts when you receive a firm offer of admission. When you receive a mail of firm offer of admission, it would also say that the need-based scholarship forms are now open.
Okay.
And on your student portal, you would find a link to the need-based scholarship form. For this round, the forms will open on 27th of January 2025, and the deadline to apply will only be for 5 days, and this will be binding. And this is the deadline that you must adhere to, since we'll not be able to extend it under any circumstances. I'd also want to add that during the process of filling the form, you may have a lot of questions, and how to fill the form, or maybe very specific queries to your situation, or how the income disclosures happen in your country. And we also understand that some of you may not fully understand how to upload the documents as well. So in such situation, we strongly urge you to reach out to us on the email ID that is being shown on the screen, which is financialaid@ashoka.edu.in. Please make sure that you contact us before the deadline and not wait for the deadline to get over. We will ensure that we answer all your queries and assist you in completing the form, just in case if you face any difficulties.
Perfect. I think this was really informative about the need-based scholarships. Anything that you or Jyoti would want to add?
Yeah, so now I would also want to talk about the merit-based scholarship. So whatever we have discussed so far is all related to need-based scholarship. And to apply for this scholarship is up to the students as and when they get the offer of admission. However, we also have a merit-based scholarship wherein exceptional students who are intending to study major in physics, chemistry, bio, computer science, or mathematics can be selected for this scholarship. We have a total of 25 merit-based scholarships available for students who are interested in pursuing these majors, and this scholarship will be over and above your need-based scholarship. So, how this entire process works is once you get the offer of admission, then on the basis of the predicted grades which you have shared and also the income which you mentioned in your admission form, a shortlisting will be done because this is a merit cum mean based scholarship. And once the students who qualify our criteria, they will be receiving, an email from us, which would state that now you need to write an SOP and also share a legit support of the income of your parents. So, apart from the need-based scholarship, which we have discussed so far, we also have this merit-based scholarship program. But the major difference between these two programs is that for the need-based scholarship, you will be applying for it because you only get a 5-day window to apply for it. And for the merit-based scholarship, we do a shortlisting for that because there is a set criteria. So you can visit our website. The link is shown here on the screen right now, which is www.ashoka.edu.in financial aid. And on this link, you will find a section for sciences merit cum means based scholarship. So on that page, if you go to, you can see our criteria. There are various merit criteria for the different boards in which you are appearing. And also there is a need-based criteria as well. But please do not get confused between the two scholarships because for your need-based scholarship, there is a different need criteria which is followed. However, for your merit-based scholarship, it will be dependent on the merit of the student and also your intention to study and do a major in any of the science courses. So this was about the merit-based scholarship. And apart from these two scholarships, we also have fee concession available for Haryana resident students. So if a student who has stayed in Haryana for 15 years or plus and is applying to Ashoka University, then these students can receive a fee concession under the Haryana resident policy. And to be eligible to get this fee concession, students need to share a Haryana resident certificate which needs to be in their own name. And they also need to share the latest ITR of their parents or guardians. So when you are filling in your application form, just ensure that you select yes, that you are a Haryana domiciled student if you have stayed and studied in Haryana for 15 years or plus. And once you get an offer of admission, either if you have the certificate available, you can attach it in your application form itself. Else, when the financial aid forms open, you can also attach it there if you are planning to apply for financial aid or for your need-based scholarship. And if you know you are not planning to apply for that scholarship and you did not attach the certificate in the application form, you can still share the certificate with us over the email ID, which is right now being shown on the screen, which is financialaid@ashoka.edu.in. And we will ensure that we give the minimum benefit which you will be entitled to receive, which will be around 25% waiver on the tuition fee. and this entire fee concession is decided by the management itself. Just keep in mind that your time period to submit this certificate will be before the session commences. So, which usually happens in the third week of August when the class is starting. So, just ensure that if you have stayed in Haryana and you are eligible to get the certificate, then just start with the process of procuring it so that you can receive this benefit under the Haryana resident policy. So, yes, that's all from our side related to the scholarships. Now, over to you, Niyati.
A lot of information to take in. But of course, I believe that, after that also people would reach out because this is the most like crucial step when we talk about after getting an offer. Admission process itself is very crucial for each and every student. So I have been going through a lot
Sure.
of Q&As, right? A lot of Q&As related to a need-based scholarship, merit coming scholarship, Haryana domicile, etc. And Madhuri, we also have a lot of questions for admissions as well, right? So I'll quickly just sum up, like because already we have answered a lot of them. However, one question we have is how to qualify for the waiver. So, like once you have submitted your all the documents and everything, how do you qualify for the waiver?
Okay, Tejasvi, you want to take this up? Okay. So, qualifying for the need-based scholarship, there's a lot of criteria. So, sorry, we also have a sample form which is available on the website. So, students should go through the sample form. They should see that we ask for a lot of information which relates to their personal details, their family details, the income of the family, the kind of investments and assets they have, the kind of expenses or liabilities they have, and also if there's something which they want to share with us, some medical emergency or some other additional thing which they feel that they will not be able to mention in the entire other sections of the form. There's a comment section also wherein they can explain to us that why they feel they need to apply for this need based scholarship, and if there's something additional they want to share. So our decision is based on all these parameters which a student will share with us. And also on our website we have shared a table which talks about that if your family income is falling between a certain range, and if your family comes from an employed family and they are salaried family members, then you can particularly qualify for a certain amount of financial aid. Although the final decision is subject to the evaluation of your financial aid form by the committee, but however, if you look through that table which has been shown on our website, you can get some idea that if you're coming from a salaried family background, that how much scholarship or financial aid you can qualify for.
Perfect. One question, which I also get during my presentations or career fairs. So, at what stage does one apply for the scholarship if someone's parents suddenly loses their job? I
Oh.
mean, so,
Mm-hmm.
for example, if there was like income based, like if we talk about this need based scholarship, for example, if parents were working and all of a sudden they stop working, right? Or might be any reason that they're not working anymore, how do we go about it?
Okay, so for that, firstly, they need to fill in the financial aid form and they need to mention that if their parents are not working, why they have not been working. And they also need to tell us what they were doing previously so that we can get an entire picture of what is the reason that why the parents are not working currently. And then, depending on those circumstances, it will be decided whether a student will qualify for a financial aid or not, or a scholarship or not. Need based scholarship is what we are talking about here, because that is something where the students can apply for. And for the merit based scholarship is something for which we shortlist them depending on the criteria.
Yeah. And also, one more question is there. For example, if someone has got the financial, like the need-based scholarship, and the student would be requiring a little more need-based scholarship, let's suppose.
Mhm.
So, okay, how do we go about it? Do they write to us that there is a certain specific reason why would they want uh, more need-based scholarship?
So a decision when it is taken by the committee is, in consideration with all the information an applicant has already shared. And that's why, we request all the students that when they are filling this form, they need to ensure that they fill in all the information very correctly and honestly. Because if they mislead or if they try to hide any information, that will not going to help. If they genuinely come out and share everything with us, it's only then when we can also support them, because it's not something that you can hide from us and you feel that maybe you can qualify for financial aid. That is not going to happen, because there are a lot of parameters which go into when you are filling in the financial aid form. So as honestly as you can share all the details with us in the first session itself when you are filling the form, and clearly mention what is the reason why you're applying for financial aid, the decision taken by the committee stands as is. But still, if at some point you feel that maybe your context is not being heard, or maybe you need some additional support, you can always write to us. There will be a window given to you for that. And going forward, we might have some collaborations with loan partners as well. So if there's something which you
Mhm.
can work out between giving some additional help to giving an option of a loan, we can always work that out, because our ultimate aim is to ensure that we make this education affordable for you.
Perfect. Um, Another question is that do you factor in loan EMIs in arriving at the scholarship needs? While the gross income may look good, but such obligation can have. So basically, they're asking that if there is any EMI going on, any loan, etc. So how like do you assess it?
So Tejasvi,
So
why don't you take this?
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, I want to take it. So we consider all the loans and liabilities along, like we assess everything. We take in all the information about the assets as well as liabilities in the need-based scholarship form, and we assess holistically about the complete financial standing of the family based on the information that you provide us. And as Jaiti has rightfully mentioned, we'd request all the parents, all the students again, to share as much information as they can. They should share all the information so as to get the most out of it, I'd say. So yes.
So this one is for the Haryana domicile. That
Mm-hmm.
Haryana domicile is on hold by the government. So if the domicile certificate is on hold,
Hmm.
and they do have it like in the process,
Right.
and if in case by the time they get an offer, the student gets
Mm-hmm.
an offer and the student has to, because also mentioned in the application form, right?
Right.
So if the Haryana domicile certificate is not there, it's in the
Hmm.
process. So is
Right.
there any additional document that the student or the parent can submit?
Yes, yes, they can. So, no other alternative document per se. However, when they applied for the Haryana domicile certificate, they might have received an acknowledgement from their end. So that acknowledgement would, help us to understand that, it's in the process and it's gonna come soon. So we will be considerate for those students, families, knowing, and they can also let us know, sharing that acknowledgement, or maybe checking yes to the Haryana domicile in the scholarships form, and then just uploading the acknowledgement there. That would suffice. But
Okay.
I'd like to also mention here that some parents and some students, uh, uh, as per the policy given by the Haryana government, we'll not be able to consider the just the Aadhaar cards or Parivar Pehchan Patra PPP certificate in against of any Haryana domicile certificate. So that has to be Haryana domicile certificate. But just in case it's not available, just upload the acknowledgement that you've applied, and that would suffice.
Perfect. Thank you for this information. I think there are two,
Yeah.
three questions related to the entrance. I can answer that. That in case for need-based scholarship, students have to give any separate entrance, etc. So the answer is no, because it's a need-based scholarship. You don't have to give any entrances, etc. Now we also have question for admissions. Basically, there's a question that do diploma students get a lateral entry? The question is that the student is currently doing a diploma in computer science and engineering. So is there any possibility that the student can apply as a lateral entry?
Right. So I would like to let everyone know that we do also conduct transfer admissions. So in case you've completed, let's say, 1 year of your undergraduate study, you can actually apply through the transfer process. And the reason why you need to know, let's say, the transfer process in detail is that you can apply only once in the entire admission cycle. So if you apply as a fresh applicant, then your prior, study or your years of study will actually not be considered, and you would be enrolled as a fresh applicant. So, what I highly recommend is to check out our transfer admissions website, and the applications for transfer open like in March. So, in case you're doing an undergraduate program right now where you think that you would like to apply as a transfer applicant, then that would be a good option as well. However, if you think that currently the program that you are doing does not qualify for, let's say, a transfer admission, then you can apply to our undergraduate program. And as Niyati has reminded us that for the first round, 27th of November is your application submission date.
Also, there is one question, which is, can we reapply to Ashoka? Now, I am assuming two possibilities. One is that if the student can apply in other rounds or not. For example, if has applied to one round and did not make to Ashoka, that student can apply to other rounds. Second is if, for example, a student is already studying in some university or college, they can reapply to Ashoka. So I think we can take on both the possibilities, Madhuri.
Yes, definitely. So you can apply only in one round. So we have only 3 rounds of admission, right? So make sure that you look at our admissions calendar, which is available on the website as well, to make sure that you actually apply and take the time to work on your application. We highly always recommend students to apply in the first round and second round so that you have clarity on your own academic journey, right? And about reapplying in case you've already started your academic journey elsewhere for undergraduate studies, do note that you can obviously always reapply. If you do think that there are ways to make your application better, in case let's say you applied earlier or not, the focus would be how can you highlight what you did in those years. So even if let's say it was a gap year, even if you studied elsewhere, the focus of there's a section under your class 12 course where you can actually talk to us about what you were doing. Did you in fact take another program? Did you take that gap to sort of understand your own academic interests? So definitely, even if you're reapplying to Ashoka, know that all your valuable journey in that period is also very helpful for us, and you can obviously document that in your application.
Okay. So another is that there's a student who applied in 2023, currently studying in Delhi University, wants to reapply at Ashoka. So of course we can suggest that transfer could be an option. But that student has to reapply as a fresh applicant also. Like, is there any possibility?
No, it all comes down to your interests. So, if you would like to experience the Ashoka journey for the 4 years, right, start from the scratch and to experience your foundation courses and to actually have that academic freedom for 4 years, you can apply as a fresh applicant. In that case, what I said about filling in your experience of studying elsewhere, even as a fresh applicant, that experience would be really valuable to you as an applicant, right? But if you should do the transfer application process, then do go to our website to understand what are certain requirements for a transfer application. We would look at what are the past years of their study, and that's highly recommended for students who have, let's say, studied for 1 year elsewhere. Yeah.
All right. Another question which could be like a little more important, I feel, because so there is one parent who has asked this question that their son is studying in a residential school, and due to which they have a little bit of like time constraints and date constraints. So do we give any extension in any special circumstances or any circumstances for the admission cycle? For example, if the student wants like eagerly wants to apply to the first round of application and the deadline is 27 November, but in case if somebody reaches out, like they need 2 or 3 days of extension, do we do that?
So for the application form, no, because you get your admissions calendar and you get a really long time to, prepare your application. Even today, if they were to start today, there is a whole week for them to sit down and understand and attempt the application. So I would definitely say that while we have a lot of students from residential schools who apply, It's just that you need to make the application form like doable in your schedule. You can work on it in whatever time you get in your schedule. And apart from that, all the other process of our application, for example, you would be writing the Ashoka aptitude assessment, that is completely online. And your interview, if you do get shortlisted for it, is also completely online. So do not let, situations like this maybe affect your application, because we are very flexible in that way in our admissions process. So I would say, even if you take, let's say, an hour out and every day in the week, that would really be helpful to prepare for your application. And because you will not get any extensions on, submitting the application form, we're very strict with those deadlines.
All right. Now there are a few more questions that are coming for score need-based scholarship. So I would actually, yeah. So for determining the income range, which year income is considered? Is it 2023, 2024, or 2024, 2025?
So while we accept income in two formats. So one would be salary slips, that would be the past 3 months, and then it would be the complete detailed ITRs, which will be the income tax returns, which will be for the past 3 years. So not just one year, we take the income for the past 3 years, we analyze it, and then we decide upon it. And income is not the sole criteria. I'd like to add here. There are, as we've already mentioned earlier as well, there could be assets and liabilities, the loans that are there, the additional, the number of family members that stay in the family. We do consider a lot of things, so we holistically approach it.
All right. Also, now there are questions that, a lot of students are applying for CUET,
Mhm.
NEET, or JEE, right?
Right.
When we talk about merit scholarships, are they solely based on 12th grade marks, or we also consider these entrances as well for these scholarship purposes?
Yes, so we also consider these entrance test scores as well for the scholarships. For students who are appearing for GEE mains, then the criteria to be shortlisted and to get selected for the scholarship is 98 percentile or above. And for students who are appearing for NEET scores or NEET exams, the criteria is that they should have a rank of 600 or higher. So we do consider the scores of these two entrance tests apart from the class 12 scores of the student in their respective boards. Yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah. Also, I would also like to address a
Trust.
few questions here. That firstly, for your need-based scholarships, so you will get the decision before the acceptance deadline date. So for every round, there is an acceptance deadline date, which is mentioned on the website. So your financial decision will be shared before the acceptance deadline date. And to accept the offer, you will be required to pay a certain fee within that deadline date, just to confirm your offer of admission. So the decisions will be shared with you before the deadline date, and you will be required to make some payment just to confirm your offer. And the dates will be different for each round where you are applying for. And talking about the merit-based scholarship, so for merit-based scholarship, you will only have a chance to apply when you get selected for it. You cannot apply for it on your own. What you need to ensure is that right now you are in the process of submitting and applying for your admission form. So ensure that your grades which you are inputting the predicted grades, that should be there in the correct order. And also the income which you are selecting in the end, there's a question which asks about your parents' income, and it's a range, of course. It's not a exact income we are asking for, and no proofs are being asked. Just the range is being asked. So just ensure that you put in the proper range, because to get shortlisted for the merit-based scholarship, it also consider the need criteria, wherein there is an income criteria also involved. So when you are filling your application form, just ensure that you fill in these two parameters very correctly. And again, coming to need-based scholarship, I'm sorry, there's a lot of confusion over here, but please do not get confused. Need-based scholarship is very, very different. Merit-based is very different. Need-based, you will get an option to apply only when you receive a firm offer of admission. The form will automatically open for you. You will have a 5-day window to apply for it. and it will involve a list of documents which you need to upload in the form, which will include documents like ITRs of your parents or earning members, their bank statements. If they are employed, then their salary slips. If anyone in your family has a business or a profession, then we will also be needing the financial statements of the business, the form 26AS, the completed ITR, GST reports. And in case your family has any loans related to any property which they have purchased, or if they have any vehicle loans or any other loan apart from that, then you need to share those loan attachments with us. We would also be needing your school fee receipt for the last quarter. So whatever fee receipt you have available with you for the latest quarter, you also need to attach that. And a few documents also need to be attached for all the investments which you are declaring in the form. So it is an exhaustive form. It asks for a lot of details. But if you start preparing it on the site, then of course, once you have all the documents in place, you can easily fill in the form within a 1 or 2 day window. Yes, we just encourage you that you go to the website, just have a look at the sample form which is available. That will give you a good idea. And also a list of documents is mentioned. And all of this process will only start when you get a firm offer of admission. So don't worry about it too much right now. Just focus on submitting your application within the deadline and ensure that you submit your application in a proper manner. Don't just hurry up in a rush and don't try to submit it, because we have round 2 and round 3 also there. So just fill your form properly, and then you can start focusing on your financial aid. And we have also shared our email IDs with us. So if you have to discuss anything, if you have any queries, just feel free to write to us on that email ID.
Okay. Another question is, as we were talking about these entrances, so SAT, do we consider it for any of the scholarships like merit cum scholarships or any scholarships that are based on SAT that we offer?
So we have a partnership with College Board, wherein they have a criteria to select students on the basis of the SAT scholarship, and also on the basis of the income of a family. So students do get selected for that scholarship on the basis of the SAT score. But again, since that is a partnership between Ashoka University and College Board, it's not a sure shot that if you have received a certain SAT score, you will definitely get it. There's also an income criteria involved. And then once you get accepted into the system, then we share the list with the College Board team, and they also have a selection criteria for that. So definitely there is a scholarship available for students who are appearing for SAT scores. But again, there are criteria involved in it. So if you feel that there's a need for you to apply for scholarship just to help your family bridge the gap, then do apply for this need-based form.
Perfect. I hope it is not becoming overwhelming for you guys. A lot of questions are here. Few of them are for the Haryana domiciles. So, um, uh, we get a Haryana residence certificate. Is it similar to Haryana domicile certificate?
Yes, that's correct.
That's correct?
Yeah.
Okay. And if a student is staying in Haryana, can we get a benefit for merit cum based scholarship as well? Like the merit scholarship and Haryana domicile applied.
So that depends upon the discretion of the committee. Haryana domicile is based upon the submission of the Haryana domicile certificate along with the ITRs. And the merit cum means is a separate committee that decides upon it. And also, plus the students also have to qualify all the criteria that is mentioned for the merit cum means scholarship.
Okay.
Yeah.
A few questions which are fee related.
Mhm.
What is the fee expenditure other than the tuition, and how much this cost approximately for the first year?
So apart from the tuition, there are two components. One primarily being the cost of residence. We have given a complete picture of all the components on our website. We request all of you to please visit our website and see all the components. Then comes the cost of the meals, and there is a small cost associated with the essential services as well.
And by when, like, what is the date when the students are supposed to submit the tuition fees, like for the first year?
Right. So for the as in when they as in when the decisions so the offer deadline date is what they need to submit the the acceptance deadline date.
So for round one, the acceptance offer confirmation fee date is
Yeah.
7th of March.
7th of
Yeah,
March.
right,
Perfect. Um, so you mentioned that the merit-based scholarship is available for STEM subjects. So
right.
if we have mentioned one of the preferred subject as STEM and do qualify for the scholarship, but later choose a non-STEM major, does it matter?
Yes, it does matter. Then the scholarship will no longer be applicable. We have explained it on the merit cum means scholarship page as well, that the students need to maintain a certain CGPA and have to continue with the same majors which they select in the first place.
Okay. All right. So one thing that I would also want to inform is that about AAA, about our admission cycle, about the fee structure, all of the information is available on our website. So we do request our audience to check the website about all the dates and everything, because all of the dates are published on our website, like the round one, round two, and round three, our fee structure, etc., on our website. One question is that, so we were talking about this need-based scholarship, right? And we talked about certain documents that are required. So, like, is there any possibility that the students can or the parents can actually access the list of documents that are required that they need to submit during while they are filling the need-based scholarship form?
Right. So we have uploaded a sample financial aid form. So once the parents check the sample financial aid form, they'll be able to see what all documents, what all sections are there basically, and which section requires what all documents. So we have given an exhaustive list there. So you can check the sample financial aid form and you'll get the idea about that.
Right. And I think there are a few questions related to if business families can also apply. Will they be also eligible to get the need-based scholarship? So yes, even families can apply for the need-based scholarship and you will be eligible. So there is absolutely no limitation on you for applying for the need-based scholarship. You can absolutely go ahead and apply for it. There is no as such mentioned criteria that only these set of students can apply. Anybody can apply for the need-based scholarship form because it's up to you to apply for this. And in case of merit-based scholarships, it is something that we do a shortlisting based on the criteria, the set criteria, which is already mentioned, and we will not be able to make any changes to the set criteria. So if the merit-based criteria says that your family income should be less than 40 lakhs, then it has to be less than 40 lakhs for you to qualify for the merit-based scholarship. If it says that your class 12 scores need to be 98% if you have appeared in a CBSE board or any other state board, or above that, then it has to be 98% or above that. Even a 0.25% drop and will not qualify you for that to apply for that merit-based scholarship. So we are very, very strict in that process. So please, do not just keep yourself limited to the merit-based scholarship. Please do also apply for the need-based scholarship as and when you get the offer of admission and the form opens. Yes.
So one a slightly different question. In case like when the student joins Ashoka, during when the student accepts the offer, the student does not fill the need-based form, which has to be filled because the student at that point of time initially feels that he or she does not require need-based scholarship. However, after first year, or like let's suppose in the middle of the year, the student comes to us and requests if they could get need-based scholarship. Is there any possibility that we look around?
So generally, Ashoka University believes that the families and the students uh, have been made aware of the need-based scholarship during the time of admission, and uh, they have planned their educational journey for the next 4 years accordingly. So we generally do not open or do not give a chance to the existing students to apply for the need-based scholarship.
Perfect. Um, so one more thing. So for example, if there's a student and the parents they don't live together, they have split up. So how do we go about the need-based scholarship then? So, like when we have to submit the ITRs or the financial statements and everything at that point of time.
Okay, so in that case, the student needs to share the details of the parent who is currently supporting them with their educational needs and other needs. And if there is a support coming from both parents, then probably they need to mention and share the details of both the parents. And if the parents are legally separated, sorry, if the parents are legally separated, then we would also request them to share the legal documents with us that will be required for our records. But in such situations, the parent who is supporting you currently with your education and other expenses, primarily you need to mention their details in the financial aid form or in the scholarship form.
Is this need-based scholarship just for the first year or for the entire course? Like that includes for like residence and tuition? Does it include both, or it is just for first year or for the whole 4 years?
So these are two questions. First
Yeah.
being, is it applicable to tuition, residence, or what all components? So it depends upon the amount of aid that has the amount of scholarship that has been granted to you from the financial aid committee's end. So that may include some waiver on the tuition fee. That is considered a case where of partial aid, or it could be a case of complete scholarship as well, where the financial aid committee believes that the need of the family is makes them eligible for the complete scholarship, complete need-based scholarship. And secondly, whether or not it is applicable for just 1 year. No. So it's applicable for the entire duration of the undergrad program. So once granted, say for example, X% on tuition fee waiver will be applicable for all 4 years. And whichever category it is, if it could be higher also, then also applicable for all 4 years.
Okay. Are there merit scholarships for non-subjects or non-science subjects too? Non-STEM programs that we have at Ashoka University.
No, so there are no merit-based scholarships available for non-STEM students or students who are interested in pursuing non-STEM courses. As of now, merit-based scholarship is only available for students who are interested in studying STEM or pure science courses, which includes physics, chemistry, biology, mathematics, and computer science.
And is there a fixed number of people who get need-based scholarship?
So for need-based scholarship, there's not a fixed number.
There is a
It
fixed
is
number.
completely dependent on the need of the student. So we are not looking at a set number here. If you feel there's a need for you to apply for the scholarship, please go ahead and apply. And if you will qualify for it, as we've already mentioned, that it is, kind of a gradient or a range. So maybe you can get a 25 or a 50% waiver, or if you qualify and if you're eligible, you can also get a higher waiver on the full expense, which will also cover your residence cost, your meals cost, the essential services part, as well as the entire tuition cost.
All right. And is there any possibility that the student can avail both need-based scholarship and merit scholarship?
Yes, there is a possibility that student can avail both. So then, whichever is the higher scholarship the student has received, will be applicable. And also in terms of merit-based scholarship, there is a set condition which you need to follow, which is that in every semester you need to secure a certain CGPA for a merit-based scholarship to continue. So in case, in a particular semester, if a student falls short of that requirement, and if they have applied for the need-based scholarship, then that need-based amount will continue and the merit component can be withdrawn. But whichever the higher of the two will be applicable in any scenario. And need-based scholarship will continue irrespective of anything. Like whatever it is, it will stay as is for your 3 to 4 years of the undergraduate program.
And is there any reservation criteria for the scholarships?
No, there's absolutely no reservation criteria. There's absolutely no criteria, nothing when you're applying for your need-based scholarship. No criteria involved, nobody coming from an army background or coming from a single family or coming from a tier 3 city or certain locations, no preferences given on any such criteria. It is completely purely based on the need of the family.
And do we have to write additional essays for need-based scholarships, or is it in the application form only?
Mm.
So it's in the application form only. We have provided a comment section towards the end of the financial aid form that we believe is the one of the most important sections there, where it's your opportunity to tell us anything and everything which is left in the need-based scholarship form, or any circumstances that you want the financial aid team to know, so as to during our assessment we have that s- knowledge, while assessment of your financial the need-based scholarship.
Okay. Okay, now there is I think this question you can take it as an activity so that now, because a lot of questions must have been overwhelming for you. So now you have to like answer it whether it is a fact or it is a myth. Is it true that applying in round 2 or 3 will lower our chances of getting a need-based scholarship?
No, absolutely not. That is not at all true. And it's actually a false statement. As already stated, that need base is completely on the basis of the financial standing of the family. And there is no set, number for that, no set amount for that. It's just that if you qualify for it, you get whatever you will deserve on the need basis.
Okay. Does an individual's extracurriculars and LOR take part in deciding the amount of need-based scholarship they get?
No. So
No.
no. So we completely focus on the need of the family while deciding for the need-based scholarship.
Yes, yeah. Like just to add over here that, on the basis of your merit, you're getting admission into Ashoka University. So when you are applying and when you are going through the process of admission, they take care of all your academic achievements, all your extracurricular achievements, your LORs, the essays you've written. So you have already crossed one benchmark of being a meritorious student by receiving an offer from Ashoka. Now comes the need part, wherein if you need any support with related to the cost of the program, and we are just here to bridge that gap for you. So all these parameters are not considered when we are evaluating your need-based scholarship.
Okay. So a few more questions. Then I will set you guys free. So basically, uh, would the merit scholarship be based on predicted grades received from the school?
Yes, it will be based on the predicted grades received from the school. But of course, we start our process with the predicted grades which you have shared. In the end, we would want you to ensure that you receive the achieved grade or the required score, which is as per the criteria. In case you fail to do that, then your merit scholarship component will be withdrawn before the university starts. So at the time of application, at the time of you getting the offer and us starting the process of merit-based scholarship, it will be dependent on your predicted grades, because we understand that your scores will come a little later in the year. But as and when the final scores come, we want to ensure that you achieve the desired score, and only then the merit-based scholarship component will continue.
I'm so sorry. So another question, is triple A online? And yes, it is online, guys. All
Yeah,
the
I want to
assessments.
actually take some questions on the assessment, right? So, just for everyone's information, the Ashoka aptitude assessment is mandatory. Some of you have asked, what if you've given your SAT or ACT or CUET? Do note that while you've given all of these tests, or if you're planning to, you would still be required to write the Ashoka aptitude assessment, right? But the good thing for you is it is online. The second is, if right after you finish you submit your application around the 27th of November, you will receive, demo links. So this would actually mean that you also have the opportunity to not just understand how the portal would work on the day of the assessment, but you also have an opportunity to select a time slot for your aptitude assessment, right? The aptitude assessment in itself also has two parts. So there's the on-the-spot essay and there is the Ashoka aptitude test. So do note that both of these have very different skill sets. Our website has not just information on what we're looking for in these tests, so what you can expect, but it also has sample questions and sample prompts that you can actually expect to write. So this would actually help you to prepare better. But I would just like to reassure everyone that our larger goal with the Ashoka aptitude assessment is that students usually require minimal preparation. It is only a way of understanding. It gives us an added point of insight. And as we conduct really holistic education, like holistic admissions process, it also is a very important factor in your larger admissions process. Yeah.
Okay, that is somewhere which is like a sum up of all the questions that we have been getting for admissions. Um, so I think this is enough. We have like taken a lot of questions. I mean, this is so great. Like, I really feel great when I have like so many questions from parents and the students. I feel like these parents are so enthusiastic for the admissions process at Ashoka University. So I know there are other questions as well, but we have already put our details on the chat box. So with that, we come to an end to today's session. Thank you so much, guys, for joining in. My camera is off. I think there is some problem. And for the parents and the students, we hope that this webinar was helpful in understanding Ashoka's commitment towards making the education affordable and accessible. We would really appreciate one thing if you could please take a minute to share your valuable feedback with us. I think there's a link to the feedback form which is provided in the chat box. Please do let us know. Um, and yes, another thing which I also said in the starting of the webinar, um, that we have already like started our application process, and the last date to apply is 27th of January for the first round, and you can actually apply without your 12th grade and CUET, because you also have to submit your predicteds. I would encourage students to start early and have access to personalized mentorship from our academic counselors and get a confirmed offer of admissions and scholarship even before their final board results are announced. If you have any further queries, you can also write to us at for the web. Like, I think the email would be here only. The email is ugapply@ashoka.edu.in, or you can contact us on the numbers that are given on our website or on the screen. I think in the chat box we would be mentioning that. Okay, guys, so this brings us to the end of the session, and I wish all the students best of luck for your Ashoka application. Thank you so much, all the panelists, for joining in. Thank you.
Thank you.